Hello everybody and welcome to my 19th day of a 60-day commitment to keto. First, an update on my health and well-being. I am definitely feeling better at this exact point, but not 100%. In fact, I woke up today feeling a whole ton worse. Funny how when you're sick, you need to sleep, but when you're sick, you can't sleep very well because you're sick. Well, that was my experience last night. However, as today went on, I started feeling better and better. Not quite 100%, so we're not going to have 100% of the info again in today's video, but I'm confident that tomorrow I'll be fully back up and running. I will, though, include more details than I did yesterday, so bit by bit. What did help me feel better almost immediately in the morning was stepping on the scale. Not only did it go back in the right direction, it broke into the 211 range, specifically 211.6. Why does that elate my feelings so much? Because my goal going into this was 211. So just to see that number, I can't help but smile. Just forget about the somewhat wild fluctuations at this point of the overall measurement each day. You know, early on in this whole thing, I found that having a little bit of coffee was really helping me fight the keto flu symptoms. But that has started to develop into a different kind of habit. You know, I was not a coffee drinker every single day prior to this thing, but the last 4 at least days, I have began my day with a cup of coffee. And today was no different. What was different was breakfast. Mostly because we ran out of eggs, and that is such a staple of my daily breakfast that I wasn't quite sure what to do. So assessing all my options and ingredients, I ended up with a take on avocado toast. Slice of keto bread, this avocado mash stuff, a couple of chicken tenders, goat cheese, and I do still have plenty of bacon. And it was pretty tasty. It was also surprisingly low in calories. Total consumption of this plus the coffee, 431 calories, 30 grams of fat, 30 grams of protein, 2 grams of net carb. Lunch was a different kind of meal, I think in part a result of the breakfast. I was just hungrier earlier, and so in my mind I'm like, I'm gonna have a snack. Well, that ended up being my lunch and consisted of some of those keto staples: meat, cheese. Specifically, this is a first for me: a Jack Link's beef and cheddar pack, a Meyer mozzarella cheese stick, a couple more of those cheese sticks wrapped in pepperoni, and I threw in the other half of that orange pepper from yesterday, getting that crunch, that sweetness, that little bit of extra nutrition. One other twist to this meal, in fact twist to the day, I also made a proper cup of tea, like the kind where you heat up water and add herbs and stuff to it. That process not shown, but that result was fantastic. And lightly sweetened with a bit of monk fruit. Yay, erythritol and alcohol sugars. Total for this snack-like lunch, 382 calories, 29 grams of fat, 27 grams of protein, and 7 grams of net carb, primarily from the pepper. A lighter breakfast, a lighter lunch. I absolutely had a snack today, but again, trying something a little different, and I think you're gonna like this one. A few days back, I tried just raw pecans for the first time ever. Well, my wife had the idea of adding in some chocolate. Now, these little guys are keto-specific, keto-like friendly chocolate baking chips. The brand is Lily's, and once again, erythritol and alcohol sugars coming into play here. These little guys have 1 net carb per serving. By combining the 2 ingredients in a bowl, it was almost like eating dessert. 368 calories, 37 grams of fat, 5 grams of protein, and 3 grams of net carb. Ooh, dinner. I'm really excited about this one. It was actually happening in the background of all those other meals. I cooked up my very first brisket ever, taking it real easy, doing it in the oven. I don't have a smoker. It was a brisket flat cut, not an entire brisket, but boy, oh boy, was it tasty. Check this out. Of course, it began with the seasoning, and for me, I did my own mix of things. 1, to avoid any additional sugars. 2, because it just seemed like the right thing to do. Salt, paprika, pepper, onion powder, a couple of other things. Blended it up, powdered this brisket, top and bottom. And for anybody who has made a brisket before, you might be going, hold up, you didn't trim that thing. You're right, I didn't, because I'm on keto, where fat matters. So I wanted to keep all of it on there to try and really balance those macros when it came to fat and protein, and possibly have some future fatty meals in front of me. So all these steps happened this morning. Put it in the oven, 250 degrees, 7 hours. After that point, I was able to take it out, get the foil off, take a little peek at it, but back into the oven to try and crisp up that fat layer a bit more. So after another 30 minutes or so in the oven, this was the final result. Does it make me want a smoker? Absolutely. Was I happy with the outcome? You better believe it. At this point, sky's the limit on how you actually consume the brisket. My wife made a cool little bowl. I, on the other hand, just wanted to eat it straight up. So I chopped a couple of pieces, added some broccoli, and voila, here was my dinner. Totals of everything I ate: 684 calories, 50 grams of fat, 48 grams of protein, and 3 grams of net carb. Now, if I could put an asterisk next to those totals, the thing is, because I didn't actually trim the brisket, there was no calculation that I could find to tell me how much actual fat and protein I was consuming. So these numbers are based on a thing in the app that just said visible fat. I, however, highly doubt that it was an accurate reflection. So my dinner numbers likely have a bit more grams of fat and a bit less grams of protein. Regardless, I am not that strict with myself on really hitting every single gram every single day. So I'm just gonna roll with what the app said on this one, which means our approximate totals for the day are 1,865 calories. That's about 85 calories shy of my daily goal. Grams of fat, 146, again, but 6 shy if we were going on what this app says. Grams of protein, 110, 12 under. Pretty happy with how that ended up. And grams of net carb, 15, a full 9 grams under my daily limit of 24. You know, illness aside, this was actually a pretty great day for the diet. Not only in the terms of macros, but just the different food things that I tried, which is something just yesterday I was saying I really wanted to start to do. So in a way, I'm kind of happy that I didn't have eggs, but also I'm gonna go buy some eggs tomorrow. On an unrelated note, I have been loving the comments that have been coming in, and I realize that sometimes people say that and that it's like a fake thing because they're recording it before things are posted and they're like, oh my gosh, we're seeing all your comments, keep it coming, we love it. And they haven't seen any comments where they're recording it. Well, because I'm doing this every single day, I'm truly seeing the comments as they're coming in, and the questions that some are asking. Someone has said that they are starting keto after watching some of these videos. Like, that is so cool, and in part the reason that I wanted to do this little daily documentary of sorts. So a double thank you today, not only for following along on this journey, but for leaving those comments and really making it worth it for me. Not just the diet, but the video part. With that, I end my day 19 with 41 left in front of me and hope for a decreased illness day 20. I'll see you there.